in the desolate, ice-crusted heart of the Ural Mountains. There is a peak that the world was never meant to conquer. To the local Mansi tribe, it is known as Kholat Syakhl. In their ancient and weathered tongue, it means the mountain of the dead. In February 1959, 9 of the Soviet Union's most elite hikers vanished into its frozen shadows. These were not amateurs. They were seasoned athletes, students of science, and masters of the wilderness. Yet they didn't just die. They fled into the abyss in a state of primal, unadulterated terror. When investigators finally reached the slope, they found a scene that defied all logic. A tent slashed open from the inside. Abandoned boots, heavy coats, and vital survival gear, all left behind in the freezing void. Imagine the sheer panic required to run into a -30-degree blizzard, barefoot and completely blind in the howling dark. What was so terrifying that a slow, agonizing death by freezing felt like the only sanctuary left? Today, we reopen the secret archives of the Dyatlov Pass. The expedition was led by Igor Dyatlov, a brilliant 23-year-old engineering student whose name would soon be etched into the history of the unexplained. He was a man of cold logic and hard, empirical science. Beside him stood Semyon Zolotaryov, a mysterious 38-year-old veteran with strange tattoos and a hidden past, carrying a camera he never let anyone touch. They were singing, laughing, and brimming with confidence as they boarded the train into the unknown. Their destination was Mount Autopsy. In the Mansi language, the name Autopsy carries a chilling warning that echoes through time. Don't go there. As they climbed higher into the white silence, the very air seemed to thicken with dread. Their final diary entries mention a strange, heavy feeling of being watched from the dark tree line. On the night of February 1st, they made their final stand. They pitched their tent on the exposed, windswept slope of the dead mountain. It was a decision that would seal their fate forever. Around 2 a.m., the nightmare reached its breaking point. Something hit the tent. It wasn't the wind. It was something with mass, something silent, and something undeniably threatening. Forensic evidence proved the slashes in the canvas were made from the inside. They used their knives to carve a path to the outside, desperate for even a second of escape. Without shoes, without jackets, they ran in a frantic line side by side toward a giant cedar tree over a mile away. They were walking and then running into certain death. In that level of cold, your lungs begin to burn with every breath you take. Your feet turn into numb blocks of ice in mere minutes. Yet, they never looked back. They were fleeing from something far worse than the claws of the cold. At the edge of the forest, the first 2 bodies were discovered under the shadow of a massive cedar tree. They were found in their underwear, frozen solid in the snow. Their hands were shredded to the bone. Their skin was found embedded in the frozen bark of the tree. They had tried to climb the cedar so desperately that they tore their own flesh apart. What were they trying to see from those heights? Or more importantly, what were they trying to stay away from on the ground? But the true horror was buried 4 meters beneath the snow in a jagged ravine. Lyudmila Dubinina was found in a haunting kneeling position. Her eyes were missing. Her tongue had been torn out from the root, while her heart was still beating. Semyon Zolotaryov's skull was fractured. His chest was crushed with a force so immense that his ribs were shattered into dozens of pieces. And yet, There were no bruises, no external marks of a struggle or a fall. His bones were broken from the inside out by a physical impossibility that left the skin untouched. The mystery turned radioactive when the clothes were tested in a Soviet lab. They found high levels of beta radiation, contamination that should not exist in the wilderness. That same night, other hiking groups miles away reported seeing glowing orange spheres floating silently in the sky. These orbs hovered directly over the peak where the 9 were dying. Was it a secret Soviet weapon, a parachute mine, or a visitor from a place beyond our understanding? The lead investigator was eventually ordered by the KGB to strike all mention of UFOs and strange lights from the official record. Just tell the public they died of a compelling natural force, he was told. The files were locked away in a secret archive, hidden for 30 long, silent years. Maybe it was the infrasound theory, a frequency caused by the wind that drives the human brain into suicidal madness. Or maybe it was the blurry, dark silhouette captured in their very last haunting photo. 9 souls went up that mountain to test their strength against nature. Only the mountain knows why they were never allowed to come back down. The files are closed, but the wind on Dead Mountain still whispers their names into the night. May they finally find the peace that the mountain took away. Rest in peace. They were dreamers, students, and friends. Now they are a legend carved into the ice. Let us remember their names. Igor Dyatlov, Zinaida Kolmogorova, Lyudmila Dubinina, Alexander Kolevatov, Rustem Slobodin, Yuri Krivonishenko, Yuri Doroshenko, Nikolai Thibault Brignol, and Semyon Zolotaryov. May they finally find the peace that the mountain took away. Rest in peace.